Hello, welcome to Randomay, and today we are going to be replacing the oil nozzle on my oil furnace. It is a MOC-80. It's in my mobile home, and we're going to be replacing it with a 0.55 gallon per hour nozzle at a 90 degree, and it's type W. That's what was in there, so that's what we're replacing it with. So there's 3 screws here we got to take off. The one I just loosened off. Well, we just gotta loosen off all 3, to be honest. The one we loosened off is for the plate that holds the whole assembly, and then there's 2 screws that hold the transformer down here. And we just pop the little flaps over. That one goes really easy. It's kind of spring-loaded, so pop the other one off and it pumps up. So we lift the transformer up. And most of the oil furnaces I've seen like this, so you expect to see something similar. Those are the electrodes, and there's the oil line that goes to the nozzle. We're going to take out the flame sensor there, and then we're going to loosen off the nozzle, or the line that goes to the nozzle. Loosen off the line that goes to the nozzle. Just with the wrench quick, and then once it's loose enough I just undo the rest with my hand. And since we've loosened off that one screw, the rest of this assembly should just pop right out of there. And just like this. Takes a little bit of force, but not much. You can see the electrodes in the nozzle there, and that's the inside of it. So just take a look, you can see inside. We've got 2 wrenches here. I'm going to use 2 adjustable wrenches actually to take this off, and just got to break it loose and it'll turn right off. And then for the electrodes, we've got that screw there with a little nut, and when we put them back on, we're going to want to gap it to this. I'll put this in the description below. You can see too that I'm way too far ahead. This is kind of where they were when I took it out, so I just left it like that. I did clean the very tips to try to get it to work better, and that did help for a while. So we've taken them out, and you want to inspect them for any cracks, and you want to remove the carbon. I just used a little bit of like fine sandpaper to sand it off. And I've got some dimples on there. It's hard to see on camera, but they're not very deep, so I think it's fine. But if it's not, let me know. And here's the other one here. You can see all that carbon on there. It's just awful. And here we're just unscrewing the nozzle from the end of the, I think they call it an oil gun, but I'm not really sure. But that oil line there, so we're going to have to flush that. Here you can see the fine mesh screen there. I've been told it's really hard to clean this. You can like let it soak in diesel for like half an hour and then like blow it out with an air compressor or something. That's supposed to help, but not guaranteed. But that's probably what I'll be trying with this, because this is a fairly new nozzle. So alright, so now let's go run some oil through this oil line. Here's a little tip. If you've got a empty pop can around, you can use a can opener and make a nice little holder. Just like that. So I've got 1 can of oil taken out, and I'll be taking 1 more out after this. I'm going to attempt to show you the next one as well, just because there's not like a whole lot of pressure, and it's another thing that if anyone wants to comment on and let me know. I think it's okay because the nozzle's just not in there, and afterwards it does work well. So, but if that is not how it's supposed to be coming out, let me know. And you can see it right here. it's trying to fill up, and I'm just going to try to show you without making too much of a mess, but it's kind of like spitting and sputtering, so like once again I don't know if that's just because without the nozzle adding the extra pressure to it, having such a wide open space is a lot more than a little pinhole, or smaller than a pinhole even. So we've got 2 cans taken out, and I think that's sufficient, so we're going to reassemble the oil end there. So you can see the electrodes are back on. We've got the brand new nozzle screwed in there tight, and you can see I've got the electrodes basically right flush with the front of the nozzle. They're an 1/8 apart and exactly 9/16 up from the hole. So we're going to put this back in and get it fired up. First, before we put it back in, let's just give this a quick wipe. Try not to get any into your blower compartment. It can be very difficult, but yeah, you don't want it to go down in there. Little moving parts thing, you know, little pebbles, crap, whatever that shit is. Okay, so we're putting the back in our assembly here, and it really only goes in one way, so it can be a bit of a bitch. Okay, so once that's in, we're just going to screw the screw a little tighter. And we're going to attempt to get the oil line back on here. I think it needs to be replaced, this little line, maybe make it a little longer so it'll connect a little easier. So first let's just put in the flame sensor and flip the transformer back up, and we'll screw that down and get the oil line on. Okay, before we flip the transformer up, we're just going to quickly sand down the terminals just to make sure that we've got good contact in between the transformer and the electrodes. So now we've got it closed back up and back together, and we're ready to do test fire. This first test fire is probably going to be pretty smoky because I've been trying to get it running for the last while here, and I probably poured more than should be in their oil. I probably ran it a few too many times for test runs, and it probably has a little too much oil in there, so that's why we're getting so much smoke here. It's alright, it's not a big deal, but it is a little depressing. But we're gonna just turn it off here quick, and then we will come back, and after that's like burned up, and try it again. Yeah, I thought there might be some oil from when I was trying to get it to work, so I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute. Alright, so we've got it closed up here, and we're going to try to run it. You can see the flue there and stuff.
Here we go. And you can hear it fire right up. And I think we're good to go. I just had it on, the fan turned on and everything. I haven't had a problem with anything else, just ignition, which now is going pretty smooth. Thanks for watching. Keep it random, eh?